Hello everybody, welcome back to EPL Fantasy Tips on YouTube. I'm your host, as always, Simon Barriclow. For game week 13, here's my squad. I have made a few changes. I got rid of Isak and brought in Jesus, and other than that there were not too many other changes. For this game week I have a 3-4-3 formation. You'll see I have the typical defenders at the back, though I have brought in Ben Mee since he's playing a weaker opponent. Let's start it off again, as usual. We'll discuss the defenders, midfielders, and the forward group. The goalkeeper for this week, as usual, I have Alisson Becker. Liverpool, they're coming back into form, and so is he. In game week 11 and 12, he did very well. One of the top performing goalkeepers, so we'll keep him on for Forest to likely get another shutout. And then with the defenders, I have Van Dijk, Ben Mee, and Cancelo. Let's look at Van Dijk's statistics here. Still very low selection rate, which is a good sign. ICT index is quite good as well for him. The defender group, just in general in the league this year, is not doing as well as previous seasons. So I think you may want to rely more on your midfielder group and forward group for this season, so far anyway. Van Dijk, just like Alisson, had a very good performance in the past 2 game weeks. 8 and 7 points in the past 2. On to Ben Mee. I typically have Ben Mee on the bench, though since they're playing Aston Villa, I've brought him back onto the pitch. And he's done very well in the past, since game week 9, 7, 6 and 6. Quite good for Brentford so far in the past few game weeks. And I've captained Cancelo. I believe Cancelo is a low-risk captain for this week. He's likely going to get a shutout, and he could potentially even put up a goal or an assist. I'll likely keep Cancelo on until game week 18, going into January. Alright, on to the midfielders. I have Ward-Prowse, Rashford, Zaha and Sterling. Starting with Ward-Prowse. You're playing Arsenal. I know it's a difficult game, but they are at home, so unfortunately Ward-Prowse is not performing as I expected. He's getting opportunities, but he's just not getting points, so there is a chance I could transfer him out. Maybe against Crystal Palace, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, I guess. He's good value still. He's not that expensive. It would be nice if he potted one of his free kicks one of these days. Alright, on to Rashford. Man United is playing Chelsea. I like that Rashford has a low selection rate and his ICT index is quite strong. He did well in the first 10 games, respectively. I believe he is due for a goal or 2. Man United's schedule is looking easier than others at this point in the season. So there's Rashford. Wilfried Zaha. I captained him last week and that was a great decision. He got a goal and doubled up on the points there. Still a relatively low selection rate for him, and ICT index is strong. And lastly, we have Sterling. Low selection rate, which I like. ICT index is in the top 20. Though he's just simply not performing. I don't know what to do with him. He's not in his typical offensive role anymore. So have a look at the fixtures. I could take him off, perhaps transfer him next week or in game week 15 against Arsenal. And lastly, with a forward group, I have Jesus, Mighty Mitrovic, and Ivan Toney. Jesus, Arsenal have an easier opponent against Southampton this week. He seems to be more consistent than the other forwards. He will score likely in every second game week, and Southampton is an easy opponent, so a good chance he will put up a goal or 2 or 3. Fixtures for Arsenal are looking good. Likely I will just keep him on for the remainder of the season. I should have just stayed with him instead of transferring him out. Anyway, I brought him back in. Mitrovic against Leeds. He's scored a couple goals in the past 2 game weeks. He's very dependable. I will likely keep him in for the remainder of the season as well. Fulham does have a difficult game every now and then, though it doesn't seem to matter with Mitrovic. He scores whether it's an easy opponent or a more difficult one. And lastly, we have Ivan Toney. Brentford is playing Aston Villa this week. Like my other forwards, I'll likely just keep him in. He's good value. He plays a full 90 minutes every game. Alright, so there you have it. There is my team for Game Week 13. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. As always, I'm Simon Berryclove, and this is EPL Fantasy Tips on YouTube.